Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with my 2022 IEM Rio Pick'ems. So many of you have been dropping your videos, and by you I mean the experts. I'm no longer an expert in the game. I've been away for over a month and a half, but I can say that I've been following it passionately. So I'm here with my choices that I have spent over 2 weeks since the RMRs ended trying to decide. I'm going to go and get a drink real quick. 1 sec. Just need a little bit of okay, I just need a little bit of passion. You know, alcohol brings out the courage inside of you. It is not always prevalent or apparent, I should say. I don't wear my courage on my sleeve, so to speak. But I'm here with my cactus, Kevin. Kevin, do you have any words? Okay. He says let's get this going. So, starting off, we are very meta. We're not only meta, but we're based. And based is meta. So we're not going with your typical 3-0, Vitality / Cloud9, the two favorites in this stage. In fact, we're going to leave that to the end. We're going to go start off with our 0-3 pick, and we're not going to surprise anybody. We're going with Greyhound Gaming. My apologies to the Australians of the world. I want all the best for them. The last event in Australia was a ton of fun. They're a good bunch of lads, a good bunch of mates. But by far, I think the worst team here, I think IHC and the RMRs showed that they're better than them. And that's the only other team besides maybe 9Z that I would consider for this spot. Potentially, depending on how disappointing Cloud9's team is, or if EG shows up like they did in the last Blast premiere. They lost to like Fluxo or some random South American team. Besides that, there's really only 3 or 4 teams that would make the spot, and I think Greyhound's the worst of them. So, yeah, let's just go to the first of our big 7 here and go with Vitality. I mean, this roster is stacked. It's like betting against a super team to say that they're not going to advance, but at the same time, they're a team that's comfortable losing a match. They could easily go 3-1 or even 3-2. Give somebody else a chance. Not on purpose, but just because they don't feel the pressure as much. And I think it's, a surefire way to make sure that you get a point out of them, out of the 9 potential points, by just putting them down here in the 7 advanced stages. Next, we're going to go with Cloud9. I think that's a pretty easy option as well. We got Shiro, Exile, Hobbit, a strong core of guys that in every tournament they're in, they're contenders. It doesn't matter if Na'Vi or G2, well, not so much G2 anymore, but you know what I'm trying to say. Going with our 3rd pick, Outsiders definitely are going to make it in. There's about 4 teams here, maybe 3 that we know are going to make it through, and that's Virtus Pro. Outsiders have 2 new players. Guys, I think they came from K23, I want to say. Norbert and Fame, and they're great riflers, great support players for the core guys, and Kickard and Jame. Really didn't take any steps down from signing Buster or from letting go Buster and Sanji and the other guys they've tried. And Flit is also a great glue guy as well, so not worried about them making it. 4th, that Brazilian crowd is going to be loud. We could go Furia. I feel like Fnatic has been playing decently. They don't beat a lot of the teams above them, but they will stomp the teams below them. You could go with a team like Mouse or OG. I think I'll end up going with Furia here. They're just a little bit better than the other Brazilian talent, and they've been in this position before. They've made it past challengers before. They have a lot of experience in big tournaments. Like I was mentioning before, Fnatic, I'm actually going to go with OG. They're kind of red hot right now, and they're actually one of my teams that I'd consider for a 3-0 spot because they're not as proven in the big tournament with who is it? Fosher? Fosher's the guy in Fnatic. Can't remember who the other guys were, but we have OG here. Dexter, Nexa, Flames is a strong young core. Definitely can trust that they'll make it through. Speaking of Fnatic, we're going to go ahead and Fnatic on the next spot. for sure. Nikodas, Roy, Mezzi, Krims, and blah blah blah, blah Fasher all have proven themselves as a much better team than their last rendition of Fnatic with Smooya, with whoever you want to call it, how far back you want to go, but I'm pretty confident with them as well. There's really like 9 teams that I'd say could go through. You could throw Big, you could throw Mouse, you could throw Gamer Legion. I don't think I see IHC or 9Z or EG or BNE passing, although BNE is definitely capable of surprising, and maybe even, I'd see them as another 3-0 candidate, seeing as though I wouldn't trust them in one of these spots. But I am going to go with Mouse. I think Dexter's been calling his mind out, and he's a really good fragging IGL. I appreciate this. Everything besides their logo has been really satisfying watching them play. They have 3 guys from the Mouse NXT team that have stepped up: Exertion, JDC, and Torji. As long as Torji regains some of that first form that we saw from him, as long as he's not just a dud, I think Mouse has a decent shot of getting this 8th or 7th slot here and being one of the 8 teams to advance. I think they're definitely capable of beating pretty much anybody here that isn't in this top 7 fairly easily. And then in the 3-0 spot, I'm forgetting about Big, but they do have a stand-in, so you can count them out a little bit for that. I know Sin has been playing well, but again, they almost got beat by K23, who's basically a B tier team or an A tier team if you're going by the S tier scale. You have BNE you could throw in there, I suppose, but I think it's just too much of a climb for a team that many were choosing as 0-3 in the last major. And then you have Gamer Legion, who is an interesting pick. Acor is playing out of his mind right now. I kind of don't understand why that is. I know they have a young IGL, and they took FaZe and I believe Spirit to deep in the OT in the RMR. And if you look at their matchups, actually, they start off with a weak matchup. In their first one, I believe they either face... Yeah, so if you take a look at Gamer Legion's first matchup, you can see that they face 9Z early on, which should be a win for them. And then they face EG, which is, if you look at a lot of the good teams, is another very winnable matchup. Especially for the 1-0 teams, of course. Outsiders has to face them. OG, who's my other 3-0 candidate, because they're sort of on the fringe of the top 8 or 9, has to face Furia. They might get eliminated from the 3-0 contention there. Vitality could very well be eliminated there from 3-0. The only other one, I actually went with Cloud9 last tournament, and it worked out. But it was before I knew the meta, and honestly, I think I agree with the strategy of just putting the surefire teams down below. And Gamer Legion is far from surefire, seeing as though they're kind of a flash in the pan in the moment. But who knows, maybe they'll prove themselves. We see their squad right here. If you say you know these guys by heart, you know their strats, you know their skills, their weaknesses, I might call you a liar unless you're really, really into this stuff. Then I would say, let me learn. Teach, please. We all know Acor from his days on Mouse, but beyond that, I've just heard of a couple of these guys from B-tier teams. And then this is the new Polish IGL on an all-international team, all different countries. And it's been working out. They've been playing well together. Some international teams, they just flex. They play well together, even though the communication is what it is. This team just works well right now. If they beat EG, then they have a matchup, not even a difficult matchup against OG. And so that's why I'm also saying OG is another 3-0 candidate, because if they beat Furia, then they technically have an easier matchup. Technically, they should be better than Gamer Legion, but who knows? Put Gamer Legion as my 3-0. That's what I'm going to go with, guys. Unless you see any holes in what my strategies are here, and it's really just not something I'm trying to overthink anymore. I'm super comfortable with these 7 teams. I think if these 3 don't make it, I'll be extremely surprised. If Furia doesn't make it, I'll be extremely surprised. And I like the way the other 3 are playing and what we saw from the RMR. I mean, if you can somehow convince me that B&E or that Coldzera's team or maybe that Imperial will pull out something, I'll be down to hear that argument. But as far as some of the other squads, maybe Big as well, I just think I'm so comfortable with this. I don't think there's any way I don't get at least a silver coin. And as you can see up here, the only other time I've done these pick'ems, I'm a rookie or a sophomore, but I did get that diamond coin, so I feel pretty confident. And I'm going to go ahead and put those picks in and forget about it. Can't wait to watch those games. Good luck to all you guys and your picks. Please tell me if I am smoking on a fat one. I don't think I am. Honestly, I think this is very based. Super freaking normie and very safe as well. I wish the best of luck to Gamer Legion, and to Greyhound, and to all these other 7 teams and everybody. I just hope we get some good CS. And thank you guys for watching. Any last words, Kevin? Okay, that was me that time. That wasn't Kevin. Sorry. Sometimes he's kind of shy. Maybe you'll get to see Kevin in a future video, but yeah, that's all for now. Be easy, bros.